And welcome back, everybody. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show money-taking. The man, the myth, the legend. The most electrifying villain in YouTube entertainment today, Mr. General Zod, and welcome, Jamie Vick. Yeah, we're running a
Yes,
minute or
Jamie
two
Vick, we
behind.
are out here in the internet ready to talk to you about everything DC and how the Snyder fans are insane. But I'm glad they
Yep.
liked my video. I think they liked it a lot, at least the ones who actually watched it. Except for the guy who said, "This video is painful to listen to and to watch." And I was like, geez, nobody said that you had to look at the screen.
Like I've seen your videos and not a knock on creative styles, but you don't really do the whole show and tell thing. I mean, you're not like me where I put my ugly face on camera. You talk in your majestic voice, you get your words out, you maybe show an article to back up your statements. And here's the funny thing about this whole argument for anyone who's joining us or who will join us as we stream. We had a debate on Twitter with these crazy Zack Snyder fans, and it somehow rounded to BVS and the Ultimate Edition,
It always seems to.
which spoiler alert, the Ultimate Edition doesn't add anything, you fucking idiots. But this dumbass tells me that okay, films are based on opinions. Yes, that is true, but that there is no facts that make a film good or bad. That it's all opinion. So that being the case, there's no bad
Oh, he's
movies.
one of those people. I must have
Yeah,
missed that one.
yeah. This was another person in that thread. I got into an argument with like five people simultaneously. You know how I do. I'm a fucking villain.
Yep.
And so I'm arguing with these people, and they go, "Well, that's your opinion." And I go, "No, you said the movie had cuts. The camera work was shoddy. Some takes were too long. Some things were cut too quick. This is technical. This is not my opinion. This is a fact of the movie." And he's like, "You don't know the difference
Right.
between facts or opinions because that's just your opinion that it's edited poorly." I go, "No, that's the basis of making a film. If you're telling me that everything technically in the movie is just my opinion, then we don't have good or bad movies because technically everything is good." And he's like, well, I mean, what are you guys? You guys are like, these guys are out of control with the way they want to defend this. And the funny part is, I'm a fan of BBS. I'm one of the people who like the movies, but I'm being objective and I'm saying objectively, it's not a good film. Does it entertain me like it might not most people? Yes, I like it. I'm a fan of DC, therefore I have all of their movies. But does that mean all of their movies are good? No, it doesn't. And it's okay. If you like the film, then you're like me. Good for you. PB, you and Stevie J and all of you, you guys don't like the movies. You won't own the movies. And you know what? You're entitled to that opinion. But let's get something straight. Yes, it is an opinion, whether or not you like something. That is your opinion. But it is a fact if something is bad, if something is technically bad, if like you can physically see that it's bad, then that is no longer an opinion. That is a fact. If CGI is bad, that's not your opinion. You can physically see it on the screen. That's not my opinion. That's how the fucking material is made. That's the physical product. Like
Nah, man,
I felt
that's an opinion. You gotta be wearing those rose-colored glasses.
like seriously, people watching and the five people who joined us, thank you. People who are watching me, arguing with these people is an exercise in futility because no matter what you say, you can go comic books or you can go like actual movie wise. And these people will die on this sword. Look, it's not Jesus Christ who made this movie. It's not Mel Gibson making The Passion of the Christ. This is fucking Justice League. It's just
Nope.
entertainment. And it doesn't mean that the movie can be bad and it's a horrible movie. Okay, you can have bad movies that you enjoy. Sometimes I watch Doom. Anyone ever see that with The Rock and Carl Urban? That's a bad movie. It's objectively
Dude,
bad.
Doom is a
Anyone,
terrible movie, and I love it.
yeah, yeah, and we love it. You can like bad stuff, but saying that it's a masterpiece and calling people names who disagree with the opinion is exactly what we are fighting against with the media. And now we have fans doing the same exact thing. And I'm like, guy, I'm a fan of DC. Do you not see my Twitter handle? It's General Zod's fandom zone. I mean, like, I'm a fan of DC here, buddy. And I'm telling you, you're wrong. Like, you even quoted source material that doesn't make sense. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's hilarious to see. And what's even funnier is Fatal J. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Like,
Fatal J.
I was like, Fatal J, man. Fatal J cracked me up. Like, dude, do you even know why you're defending the Snyder Cut? Come on, bro. Come on. Let's, don't throw yourself into this argument. First, you don't want to go down this rabbit hole. Because PB, how long have we been doing it? What, like an hour now or 2 hours? We've been arguing with these people. Not even arguing because I'm
Oh,
not
it's
even like.
been
It's been how long?
shit. Technically, I've been arguing on and off all frickin' evening with them ever
Yeah,
since I got up this evening because I decided I didn't have nothing to do today, so I was gonna, I went to bed super late, so I got up super late. That's how life works. So then I got up and I shared it on Twitter, and then an hour later, boom, stuff started happening, and I was like, oh, apparently people don't like the fact that I am showing them exactly what Zack Snyder said and letting them know that he lied to them. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of Zack Snyder. It doesn't matter if you hate Zack Snyder. It doesn't matter if you want the Snyder Cut. It doesn't matter if you want to resist the Snyder Cut. No matter what side you are on this argument, he lied to you because he either did see the movie and he told you he didn't, which is a lie, or he didn't see the movie and he's lying to you about how much he thinks that you saw, because how could he possibly know? Like, if you did whatever, any type of artwork, it doesn't matter. It could be a movie, it could be a TV show, it could be a fucking painting. And then somebody else takes it away from you and works on it. Why would you ever in your right mind, like if you're thinking clearly, you're doing an interview with a legitimate source, the Hollywood Reporter is talking to you, and you've never seen how this project was finished. You don't know how this great mural or tapestry finished out, but you're going to tell people, oh, yeah, you saw about 25% of my work. Oh, because other people have told me. And then every single freaking person that has added me on Twitter says, oh, well, what's this director of filmography? Some Fabian Washington or some shit? What the hell's his name? Fabian something? I don't fucking know. It
yeah.
doesn't fucking matter. They keep telling me it's 10%. Okay, well, if his number's 10%, how the fuck did Zack Snyder magically get to 25%? Did he just pull that number out of his fucking ass? So if he was in his right mind, why didn't he just say, I don't know how much of my work you saw in that movie? I've never seen it before. It's that fucking easy to not back yourself into a corner that you're going to have to lie out of. One of his statements has to be a lie, clear as fucking day.
And here's the funny part. The fans, they don't, they, first off, half of them didn't watch your video, and the one dude waved people off, but they wanted to comment on how wrong you are. And I'm like, okay, how does this work? You guys are Zack Snyder fans because you're commenting on a video you've never seen. So yeah,
That's right.
they are Zack Snyder fans because they are commenting on shit they never seen, allegedly. and they're making a comment to tell you how wrong you are about a video that they've never seen. And that's the ridiculousness we're in. Look, and I said this on my Twitter. You guys are missing the point of what the Snyder Cut means, at least to me, okay? I don't care about getting another version of the movie. Although I saw the trailer for Darkseid, or like Wonder Woman sitting in the cave and Darkseid's voice, that looked pretty cool. Okay. I am intrigued by the different clips and shit I'm seeing of the movie. But here's the thing, it's not about the quality of the film, because I have a feeling either for it to be better, it'll be an entirely different movie and essentially won't be the Justice League theatrical version. It'll just be another alternate movie in the alternate DC timeline, whatever the fuck. But here's the thing, the important part of this whole Snyder Cut thing that people are missing and not focusing on is that companies actually listen to fans, and this could be a good thing, not for Justice League, but for fans in general. I don't know why no one's talking about that. Like, this is a good thing for fans who like franchises. Like, that's the point, at
The
least to me.
overall situation is exactly the same setup as the Sonic situation.
Exactly. It's a, and look, I loved Sonic because I'm a Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I like the movie. I agree with the counter arguments. I agree, like, people hyped it up. I agree it's very kiddie, but I personally liked it. But I'm not holding it on a pedestal like the Sonic movie was made by Jesus Christ and it's the best thing ever. No, it was entertaining. The people who made the film listened to us. Jim Carrey was good at the end. I wasn't the person who liked Jim Carrey's performance in that particular role, but overall, I
That's because
enjoyed
he was the
myself.
Riddler.
I enjoyed myself because a director listened to what I had to say and they clearly tried. Look, whether the movie was good or not, to some people, once again, that falls into that objective thing. Yes. But I was happy and willing to give the film a chance because the director cared about my opinion. And that, to me, is the point of this Snyder Cut thing above everything else, is that this shows a willingness for companies to listen to what fans are saying, and it might actually open the doors for more companies, if they're successful, to listen to what the fans have to say, because that equals money. That should be the whole point of this debate. I feel like people are missing it,
No, I mean, I wish that I would have recorded it, obviously, like a month ago when the article came out, but I don't necessarily care about being first. I care about being right. That's the important part. But then I wish
and
I had
you're
recorded
quoting
it
an
a day
article.
earlier because I didn't realize there was going to be that teaser coming out and everyone was going to be looking up Snyder Cut stuff again. I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And I didn't watch it yet, but apparently it got everybody hard again.
And what up, Stone Cold Jeremy? Good to see you. Geekocidal Tendencies in the house. Curtis YZ, welcome. We got 7 people watching, and look. I mean, here's the thing that really pisses me off about the
We
whole
know you're
thing.
watching, Fatal J. We know you're watching. You could just say you're watching in the chat.
Here's the thing that pisses me off about the whole thing. I'm a fucking DC fan. When you have DC fans who attack DC fans because you're not
We both
DC
are.
fan enough, like, are you shitting me? I've been reading the fucking
No.
comics since I was
That's
8 years old.
I feel like you're looking at it slightly wrong. You probably more so than me, obviously. I'm not General Zod, but we're both DC fans, but we aren't Snyder fans, and that's their problem. They're like, hey man, you got to get on board. It's Zack Snyder. And I was like, okay, what the hell does Zack Snyder have to do with anything? Because I was okay with Man of Steel. Like, I didn't think that it was a great Superman movie, but I didn't think that it was a bad Superman movie. Not the way that BVS was a bad Batman movie, even though it might not be a bad Superman movie. You see where I'm coming from there? Like, if you're looking
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
perspective of the individual character, it's not exactly the same. Like, overall, bad movie. As a Superman movie, BVS, not necessarily a bad movie.
no,
But son of a
no,
bitch, they're like, hey man, you got to get on board with this. It's just a dark vision. I was like, Superman is not a dark character. He has never been a dark character. If there was one comic book where he was a dark character, maybe make a one-off story like Tim Phillips just did with Joker, instead
they did
of
make a
going
one-off story. It's
inside
called,
and trying to create a dark universe.
yeah, they did make a one-off story. It was called
What'd
Brightburn.
you say? Right.
Brightburn.
Okay. Right. Okay.
That was
Is
your one-off right there. If
is Bright
Superman was
is
bad.
Brightburn is that a DC comic movie, or is that just
It's a
inspired?
it's inspired heavily by Superman. I mean, he has super speed. I mean, technically
No,
they say
I've
he's
seen the movie,
Ultraman, but you know,
but
yeah,
I didn't
that's
know if it was like one of their IPs.
no, they wouldn't give James Gunn the go ahead to you know say it was a Superman or even like a superhero film. So he went a roundabout
Okay.
way and gave them all the same
Right.
powers.
So that's what I'm
Basically
saying.
shot it in the same location.
You,
So you can
right.
infer.
You've read the comic books. Obviously, you haven't read every fucking comic book that's come out. If there's somebody out there that has done that, kudos. You're the biggest fucking nerd alive. That's not the point. The point is, how many fucking comic books, either individual books or series, like a run of books where they're telling a story, is Superman evil? And I'm not talking where he's like possessed by red kryptonite or something. I'm talking where he's essentially Ultraman, where he's
Well,
like doing shady shit and not acting the way he should, or where Batman is fucking evil. Because I know there's that one comic book where Batman goes all fucking crazy and is just killing people left and right.
yeah, there's a couple of Batman stories that way. Superman, there's alternate universes, like different Earths where he isn't. There's one Earth where he was adopted by Lex Luthor. There's one where he was raised by the Soviet
Okay.
Union, but it's not like
But,
in Earth
so what you're saying?
Prime.
Okay,
He's
I
never
know what
been
you're
evil.
talking about with that one.
Yeah,
Right.
from being a
90% of
CW
the
fan.
time, right, 90% of the time, he is a Boy Scout.
Yeah, and I mean, you can have a brooding Superman. There's a difference. And when people use this dark
Right,
shit,
there's a difference. There's a difference. You can be brooding and not act on your feelings.
like when people use this dark shit, okay, my interpretation of Henry Cavill's Superman is not dark. It's just brooding. Like terrible shit has happened to him, and he's a little bit of more of
Nope.
a weathered Superman, but not a dark Superman necessarily. I like Henry Cavill's Superman personally. I think he does a great job. I feel like he hasn't just been directed to do his own thing. Like I think
No, Henry Cavill himself does do a great job. It's just they don't give him a great story, or if you want to break it down more than that, great individual scenes to work with. Clark
Exactly.
Kent, at that point in his life, is not going to go out and destroy that guy's truck. It just isn't going to happen. It's
Now,
not. He's a Boy Scout. He's going to be upset, and maybe he would go out, and the worst thing he would do is what Stargirl was trying to do in the series premiere of her show, and let the air out of the tires. That'd be about the worst thing he would do, to like inconvenience someone. He destroyed that guy's life potentially. As far as we know, that was that guy's life, where he lived. Everything that he had was in that truck, and he fucking wrecked it. And you're telling me that this is the shining star on the hill that is Superman? What?
Yeah, and here's the thing about that too. If you would have told me it was, and I'm gonna bring it back to Smallville, I wish those Snyder fans were listening to this broadcast. But anyways, yeah, if you brought it back to an actually good show, right? If this was the Tom Wellings Superman, or I'm sorry, Clark, then I could buy him pulling some shenanigans with the truck, and then Jonathan going, hey, that wasn't right. You destroyed that man's truck. And we all learned a life lesson and grew up, and, and we all learned a lesson that week. But this is an older Superman. Like, he's gone through high school. He's learned to control his powers. We're dealing with a seasoned Superman, and seasoned Superman wouldn't do that. This is in the and this is the thing that pisses me off. When they quote source material, okay, we can quote source material. You find me where Superman arbitrarily destroyed shit because he was having a bad day. It doesn't happen. That's Batman. Nope. That's not Superman.
I mean, I'm not the comic expert. I pretty much based all of my feelings, if we're gonna call it that, like what I know of their character, on the cartoons, because it's real easy to get a sense in the cartoon, because you can take the comic book story and almost bring it to life when you're doing a cartoon. Like, it's a lot easier to take a comic book panel and then just add a little emotion to it, add the character actually saying their line instead of you having to read it, instead of being like, oh, now we have to do this fantastical fucking scene with these real life characters, so we either got to go massive CGI or it's going to look kind of shitty. And even if you go massive CGI, it could still look kind of, to admonish everybody in the chat, it could look bad. Do a shot. Did you see the game they're playing in the chat, these bastards? Did you see this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
PB, I think we're going to have a lot of drunk people tonight. And FYI,
oh, man.
I was drinking a full bottle of Jack, arguing with this guy. You know how I get when I drink in Twitter.
Oh, man. I was Twitter.
Oh, yeah, that's why I was going, dude, did you see? I was like arguing with 5 people on one thread, going back and forth. It's like you guys claim that you're DC fans, but let's just get this out of the way. There is a difference between a DC fan and a Snyder fan, okay? Because a Snyder fan will vampantly and venomously defend Zack Snyder project, okay? A DC fan will actually look at the source that it comes from and be concerned with the product. And the product that came out under Snyder was okay, but it wasn't this groundbreaking thing that everybody wants it to be. Look, I know we got Birds of Prey. I know we got Suicide Squad. I feel your pain, guys. But that doesn't mean Zack Snyder's Jesus Christ coming back to take the wheel. Okay? He made
I didn't see Birds of Prey
yet. Good. Don't. I mean, you saved yourself some time.
I mean, but I kind of want to see it only because, Obi-Wan Kenobi looked like he was having a lot of fun playing that character. at least in the trailer.
I will say one thing. I don't care what anyone tells me. You could dislike that movie, but I will give uh Ewan McGregor mad props for at least trying to make that character entertaining, because I enjoyed every line that man delivered. Like, I give him respect because even when he's in a shitty film, he has so much fun with that movie. Like, I was like, okay, I don't care about what's going on here. Let's get back to Black Mass, because, like, he was so over the top, but he wasn't doing it like trying to make it a masterpiece. He knew what kind of film he was in, and he was just having fun. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. You're having fun doing this, man. Power to you. I mean, you could tell when an actor is legitimately trying, and that man was trying to make that character entertaining, and God bless him, it was. I had fun every time he was on screen. Like, he was just so overacting it, and I loved it. I thought, like, yeah, that I wish the rest of the movie was like this.
Okay, can you put Geekicidal Tendencies' most recent comment on the screen so that I can comment off of it after I've read it?
Yeah, sure.
Geekicidal Tendencies says, "You monkeys are way overthinking Man of Steel. It's simple. We've seen Boy Scout soups for 40 years. Give us something else. You're welcome." Okay, that's a fair assessment that you've been seeing the exact same character in every medium, cartoon, comic, movie, TV shows, whether it's freaking Adventures of Lois and Clark or Smallville. They've all been exactly the same, right? For the most part. Do you agree with me, General?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know
Okay,
what?
so that's what we're expecting. Imagine, just imagine, and asking you this question makes it even that much better. Oh, this is so wonderful. Imagine how much, and I can't believe I'm using this fucking phrase, you're gonna fucking be amazed, how much emotional weight the end of Man of Steel would have with the neck snap, because none of us are going to expect that this Superman, who is this shining star on the hill, like I said, he never does anything wrong. He always finds the best way out of every situation. So he's going to figure out some way to stop General Zod and subdue him and take him in, because that's how he takes down the good guy. So imagine the emotional weight that scene would have if they're duking it out the way they are, play it out exactly the same way, and he snaps your fucking neck.
Yeah, yeah. I'd be like, wow, I did not see that coming. And here's another thing. I can get behind what Geekicidal Tennessee has said, because unlike these fucking weirdo Twitter people, he actually laid it out in a intelligent manner, right? He laid out all of his
Jesus
points.
Christ, his one fucking paragraph that I read was more concise than all of the bullshit that people on Twitter were spewing.
I know, a Geekicidal. You need to go on Twitter and let these people know. But yeah, that is a very good point. See, it's not the way that, it's not the initial argument. Like, yes, these are all good points, but it's how you word them, and how these people word this stuff is not intelligent, like how Geekicidal Tendency put it. When you put it that way, yeah, it's true. We've seen the same thing. I respect it, and that's why I like Man of Steel personally. I respect going in a different direction, trying something fresh, trying something bold, right? That is a good argument. But trying to relate it to something else and just saying, "Oh, you don't understand because you're just not a Snyder fan," that's a stupid argument. But what he said makes absolute sense. when you put it in that perspective, yeah, 40 years of seeing the same shit does get tiring, and it's very bold to go, hey, I'm gonna take this
Right, because
Boy Scout and I'm gonna make him dark. That's a bold statement. Okay. But what people fail to see, it's not about having the idea, it's how you execute the idea that makes the movie good or bad. Now, my problem is, like you said, it's just little scenes. If you want to have that impact at the end of the film, you still have to show the other side of the hero, right? You have to show him being a Boy Scout and having a dark side so that when we get to the point where he breaks General Zod's neck, you're on the fence of what he's going to do, right? You're like, I've seen him do some crazy shit, but also I've seen him be like, hey, I'm this beacon of hope. I can't cross this line, blah, 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 blah. And then when he snaps the neck, you go, oh shit, Superman just killed Superman just killed someone. Like you said, that gets the audience like, wow, that could have been a moment that shocked audiences and made them think, just like Infinity War, right? And I mean, that's kind of a bold comparison, but I'm just saying.
and then, or on top of it, sets up, because this is supposed to be the first movie in his universe. This is his Iron Man, whatever. It's setting up the style of universe you want. And holy fuck, you're like, oh, I thought it was going to be this, just slightly dark style universe, but fucking hey, if Superman's doing this, what are we in for?
Yeah, exactly. Because then you're going, well, shit, what's going to happen with Batman? And here's the other thing. Look, the argument with things being cut out, I totally side with both opinions on this, okay? Yes, I agree. Studio interference, now more than ever, we see how much
The
of dicks.
WB always interferes with every fucking movie that goes out, so it's not
Yeah,
necessarily a fair comparison on their side, because we're only, on Twitter at least, we have only compared DC movies to DC movies. We weren't out there comparing them to the Marvel movies, or I know that once they brought up fucking Lord of the Rings, then you brought it up.
oh, 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 yeah. Like, yeah, so everybody who's in the chat, whether you like or hate Lord of the Rings, okay, I understand there's a lot of walking involved, okay? Get the jokes out of there, I know. But one thing you can't take away, Lord of the Rings revolutionized film making because they did something that films hadn't done, and that was they created these epic large scale battles, okay, and they tweaked the style of CGI. This was before Avatar. They did like the beta of what Avatar would take that and make it what it is, okay? So they pioneered a lot of the shit that we're using today. Okay, so you can't say Lord of the Rings and fucking BVS are even in the same arena. Not to mention whether you like or hate the film, the dialogue is fucking amazing. The cast is stellar. We talked about how that launched Andy Serkis as a CGI performer. I mean, you can't take that movie and say and they use Star Wars. Are you shitting me? Really? We're using Star Wars and Lord of the Rings
Oh, he must have
in
been talking about the
comparison.
sequel trilogy.
Yeah, in comparison with fucking BBS. Let's not go crazy here, okay? And this was when I got into the argument of masterpieces. If you're saying every film is, and every film is an opinion, then you're saying like Captain Marvel is the greatest movie ever made because no opinion is valid if it's bad. So my opinion, your opinion, the fucking 5,000 other people who were on YouTube who said how much uh, Captain Marvel was boring and not, no, they're wrong because it's a great movie because every opinion is subjective, right? There's no technical things. There's nothing to do with runtime. None of the technical aspects count, right? So every movie that's bad, you can't say it's bad. It's good. because that's just your opinion. How fucking stupid. That's why film critics exist. That's why film school exists. That's why film is a fucking craft. That's like saying, that's like taking someone who's a carpenter, right? And they structurally build a house lopsided. But that house isn't lopsided. It isn't fucked up looking because that's just your opinion. It's not a fact.
All of the lines are still straight.
I mean, it has nothing to do that they cut it wrong, that they measured it off, that they did the technical stuff wrong. No, because you're looking at it and you're going, wow, that house is leaning to the left. That house looks fucked up. No, it doesn't. That's your opinion. I think it looks straight. Like, we can say that about everything. Then we don't have facts or opinions. Yep. We just have people saying shit.
If everything is subjective, nothing's subjective. Like, what? No, like, things are objective and some things are subjective. Like, you've got to be kidding me, people. I understand the difference. If you don't understand the difference, maybe, just maybe, look it up in the dictionary, read it a few times over, and then ruminate it on a while, take a nap, go to sleep, wake up the next day, try again.
Timon Flip says,
Which one you got up here?
Timon Flips, he says, at General Zod's fandom zone, this argument, Superman has been a Boy Scout for a lot of time. I want something else. It only means you don't want to see Superman. Exactly, Timon. Exactly. That is the basis of a character. Look. It's just like, and these are the same people who are pissed off with Star Wars, right? It's just like changing Luke Skywalker. You could argue that The Last Jedi is a masterpiece because it changed.
Whoa.
No.
Did you just say it's just Luke Skywalker? Is that what you said?
No, I'm just, because Luke Skywalker, I'm making the connection here. Luke Skywalker.
Is that what you said? You cut out a little bit.
Yeah. Luke Skywalker is the beacon of hope, right? For Star Wars. So you could say, we've seen Luke Skywalker be this Boy Scout for years, right? We want something different. We want something new. So Last Jedi comes around and Luke is a hermit and he doesn't want the Force and he thinks it just needs to be done, right? That's a bold, dark direction. How many people fucking like that change? No one.
I mean, if we're talking about the prophets of geek culture, go check it out. Here, I'll put the link in the chat. And, I'm pretty sure everybody who's already here is already over there. But anyways, 1 out of 5 people liked it. And his name is Perp. Because I know Stevie didn't like it. I know that Cyber didn't like it. And I know that I sure as fuck didn't like it. And I know that you didn't fucking like it because fucking A. How many times have we talked about it? The answer is too many, and I'm still upset. It's 2020. That came out December 2017, and if I think about it, it just gets me fucking agitated. It's like, you just did that to Luke Skywalker? Why?
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same premise here. You have changed a character, but you didn't
and
give...
we're not... Sorry, I was just going to take it a step further, because it's not like Henry Cavill had been Luke Skywalker, Superman for 40 years, because he was literally standing there saying, hey, Ryan Johnson, I don't think that he would do this. And Ryan's like, no. This is my movie. You shut the fuck up. This is my movie. You shut the fuck up. This is what he's doing in my movie. He's like, okay, well, I guess I'll do it then. And then, the movie came out and everybody saw fucking Mark's face when the movie came out. God damn.
And here's the thing.
Okay,
look,
I'm over it. Back to Superman.
And here's the thing. I heard Zack Snyder's a great guy to work with. I mean, look at how many actors are defending him
Sure.
when we go in relation to how many people are defending Ryan Johnson. Okay, there's a huge, vast difference there. Okay, like Zach's a great guy. Okay, people.
People defend Ryan Johnson. You're funny.
So I mean, no one's coming to Ryan Johnson's defense here. Okay, like they are Zack Snyder. So kudos. He works well with actors. That's great. And the actors respect his vision. That's also great. But there's also got to be a connection with the character and with the story that you're telling. And even the story that he's telling has a few conflicts within its own, story. It it has some things where you're like, I don't see how you're going to iron this out within a couple of movies. And maybe we didn't get all of the movies, so we didn't get his vision. And I'm doing air quotes here because I'm tired of fucking hearing that. But I mean, there were still issues with the storytelling itself and things that jumped and didn't make sense. And maybe in his fucking head they made sense, but the fucking people watching it, it didn't make sense. Okay. And, I kind of want to segue here because we went on a big ass detour from our very first article of the night. And why I brought this up is because we're going to talk about Henry Cavill. And, there's some interesting news here because in the DCEU, Henry Cavill and my personal hero, the great one, the champion, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today or any day, Mr. The Rock Dwayne Johnson, could face off in Man of Steel
The
2.
People's Champ, the Brahma Bull,
and the Black Adam. So, man, that's kind of racist now. But anyways, several years have passed since Henry
he's black. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Several years have passed since Henry Cavill's most recent appearance as Superman, yet fans still haven't gotten the Man of Steel sequel they've been waiting for. Recent developments could mean the project is finally back on track, and at least reports are true. Cavill could be sharing screen with Dwayne Johnson very soon. Henry Cavill reportedly recommitted to playing Superman. According to reports, Cavill is firmly back as Superman on the DC Extended Universe. The news comes hot on the heels with the announcement that HBO Max will air Zack Snyder's Justice League in 2021. At this point, it's unclear if the Snyder Cut will change the direction of Superman's story. The director's original approach was a two-part Justice League story. Even if his story stays the same, fans can expect Cavill's Superman to be very different the next time he soars on screen. After all, Snyder always intended his brooding, conflicted hero to evolve into DCU's ultimate symbol of hope. When the news broke, Cavill's Superman status, Man of Steel 2, didn't seem like a part of the plan. Well, plans have changed, it seems. Rumors claim Dwayne Johnson will co-star in Man of Steel 2. And keep in mind,
if you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Keep in mind, though, folks, this was reported by Bounding into Comics. So, 50-50 whether or not it's.
I've been listening to you intently, like you've been telling me something real, and now you tell me it comes from Bounding into and out of sources.
So, I mean, we got a 50-50 shot. Cavill, I did see there is in this.
Hold on a second. Just to admonish everybody in the chat, everything in this article is going to be bad. Take a shot.
But no, this was an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, and there is a clip of him talking about it.
Oh, the Hollywood Reporter is a real thing. That's what I used for my video, and people love it.
So, I mean, his interview, he did confirm he's coming back. The rest of it is speculation. So, like I said, 50-50. So rumors claim that Dwayne Johnson will co-star with Man of Steel. 2. Bounding into Comics reported that Cavill may be close to signing to Man of Steel sequel directed by Snyder. So Snyder is back in the DCEU, and he is going to be directing the Man of Steel sequel, which Snyder fans are probably coming right now. And co-starring Johnson. Johnson will has yet to debut as the villain turned anti-hero in Black Adam. He has already set headline in his own movie in 2021. The story goes that corporate higher-ups at AT&T, which own Warner Bros., are eager to keep the larger DCU intact. Snyder really kicked it off with 2016's BVS, Dawn of Justice, and AT&T's is reportedly emboldened by what they've seen from Justice League Snyder Cut and the support for it. Likewise, Johnson apparently wants to be on Man of Steel 2. Yeah, and there's a tweet if you guys go to his Twitter page, which I follow very creepy like, and he has
Christ. Why would you say that?
Hey, I have no shame in my devotion to the people's champion. But anyways, he has on his Twitter page put some clips. He's put some clips up on what his design is for the new feature, and I gotta say, it looks fucking awesome. I'm like, yes, this is how I picture Black Adam. But anyways, and Bounding into Comics reports the interest in the project could be instrumental in keeping Cavill. As for the rumors J.J. Abrams might direct the Superman movie, the company prefers to tap into his skill as a television producer. So he's going to be doing the Justice League Dark show. He's not going to be working on the movies.
So he's going to be doing Justice League Lost? Awesome.
Yes. Anyways, will Shazam 2 lead directly into Superman Black Adam showdown? Prior to this report, Cavill's Superman was set only for a cameo appearance in the upcoming DCU films. Fans were most expected he would pop up in Shazam 2. After all, Superman was teased in the final moments of the first film. He was, and by teased they mean they just showed the fucking S on his chest. But if Johnson's Black Adam shows up in the Superman sequel, then Cavill's role in Shazam 2 makes more sense. Shazam and Superman have yet to cross paths on screen, but Shazam 2 could establish some camaraderie between the two heroes. Then perhaps in a post-credit scene, Black Adam could enter the picture. Such a tease could tie directly into Man of Steel 2 by the time Shazam 2 hits theaters in 2022. 4 predictions about the Harley Quinn 2 final. No, that's a different one. So basically, I think that it's cool Henry Cavill is coming back. I also think that a lot of what they're talking about is going to be a direct result of how people receive the Snyder Cut. If this thing goes off like they're hoping, okay, let's just live in the world of, imagine if HBO Max gets all these subscribers and they go up millions of dollars off of the Snyder Cut because Jesus Christ has returned as a director and he's making the most epic movie that's ever been. And
the Snyder Cut, brought to you by Jesus Christ.
So, let's just say we've got a spike in viewers. They give them a go ahead and they go, you know what, make this Justice League thing a 2-parter. And that goes off gangbusters, right? And they're like, Zach, you're back. You make Man of Steel 2. All right. So if all of these things happen to line up, then Henry Cavill is going to be on board because clearly he likes working with Zack Snyder.
Like we said earlier.
Yeah, so you would see these people return. Okay, that's cool. But there's some problems with this because after Zach
Oh
left,
no, problems, you say?
yeah. So when Zach left, you had DC in kind of a fucked state because they lost this person who was the creator who made this universe, right? They had to get all these other directors. And that's where you see how one movie is better than the other because different people and different styles, right? So now you're going to have this Snyder universe. That's what I'm going to call it because it's vastly different than what we have now. You're going to see the Snyder universe and the one that they've already created. And that one in itself is going to create a big conflict because Shazam is not a dark movie. Okay. Yes, it has very dark parts. It's darker than I thought it was going to be, but it's also very lighthearted. So now you have like
Well, doesn't it have
Henry
to be
Cavill.
lighthearted? It has a cripple boy in it.
Oh yeah, that part was pretty funny. Like honestly, that kid makes the movie. But I mean, here's the thing: you have two competing tones here, and then we don't know what Black Adam's gonna be like, but it's The Rock, so it's gonna be great.
I mean, Aquaman isn't overly dark.
No, no, but you have very different structure, a different style. And now I feel like DC is kind of putting themselves in a box where if this succeeds, they gotta course correct again. Like,
Like, I would
yeah,
have believed that Aquaman was going dark if he would have lost his fucking arm in the movie and got the fucking hook arm like he has.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, that's not to say we won't see that. It could
No,
happen.
like, we still probably will at some point. Like, a guy can hope. Like, I'm really hoping that something epic freaking happens and it's not something stupid like, oh, I was controlling the shark and then the other guy was controlling the shark and it bit my arm off. That's going to be dumb.
So let's go
Like,
to
that'd be
another
almost as
source.
dumb as how Iron Man got saved.
So let's go to another source because these two stories kind of connect together. We're gonna go to Digital Spy, and we're gonna
I
visit
don't know
the.
what the fuck digital spy is, but if you're a spy, you're probably a Russian. So you're okay, right? The Russians
Yeah.
are okay. That's what we're told, right? Because they work with the DNC, and the DNC are just a bunch of good old men and women working for the cause. The
So
cause is
let
socialism, everybody. Socialism is bad. Take a shot.
so let's go to another cast member, our favorite, our favorite Lex Luthor. We've argued adamantly with the crazy people on Twitter because apparently Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor was terrible, even though that was the most comic accurate, and he was fucking bald. But whatever. Um, Jesse Eisenberg on the Snyder Cut, Jewish storytelling, and the one thing he looks for in a role. I can't wait. Let's see what he's got to say about the
Whoa,
Snyder
whoa,
Cut.
whoa, whoa, whoa. We got to talk about the worst live action Lex Luthor of all time.
No, no, he's the greatest because PB, we don't understand depth or storytelling or emotional
Oh,
weight.
I don't. That's right. I don't understand 80 years worth of comics, which apparently makes Eisenberg the right one. I was like, oh, yeah, 80 years worth of comics, which is why he has his hair for the entire fucking movie. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
No, 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 no. This is the argument I get as a comic book
Fucking
reader
asshole.
is that this Lex Luthor is Lex Luthor Jr. It's not Lionel Luthor. You're thinking of Lionel Luthor. No, the fuck I'm not. Lex Luthor had Jr. was bald. He had a condition that made him bald. he's been fucking bald. Eisenberg was not. Lex Luthor
Wait,
is
they're both supposed to
meticulous.
be bald?
Yeah,
I ain't never seen Lionel Luthor bald before, but the only one that I can think of is the one from Smallville.
and here's the thing: people reverse that. Lionel Luthor was pragmatic, yes, but he was the eccentric one. Lex Luthor Jr. was the concise, meticulous, deviant. He's always been that way. Okay, in the movie BVS, I don't know what the fuck Eisenberg was going for, but that was definitely not Lex Luthor. You cannot tell me, if you're a comic book fan,
He
that
was
was ever
channeling his
version of
inner
Lex.
Jim Carrey.
Anyways, uh, let's see what Eisenberg has to say in a red baseball cap with big round glasses. He's sitting down against a tree, uh, a swath green. That is his first words are an apology. They feel indicative of something. The second thing he does is ask how my
Did you just
family
say
is doing.
indicative,
Yes.
not indicative?
uh, Close enough. And 10 minutes pass.
Continue.
Come on, this is General Zod's Phantom Zone. I gotta fuck up at least once tonight. The second
That's a
thing,
fact.
the second thing he does is ask how my family is doing, and 10 minutes pass, talking about one of my many things in common, New York City's West Village. It sets the tone for the conversation, in which he asks me nearly many questions as he answers. Did you go to a restaurant across the street? That Italian restaurant. What was that place called? It's the best in New York. Okay, Jesse. Like, when did your interview start?
Cool.
We rented an RV and drove here, so we were quarantined. Jesse and his family came down to volunteer at the women's shelter previously ran by his late mother-in-law. Coming by those in need is something Jesse has learned from his wife. She keeps telling me to, shut up and humble myself and use what it is that I do to help others, other people than myself. Helping others is the tenet of the film, which brought about the conversation. Jesse Eisenberg's, oh, Jesus Christ. Motherfucker, I pressed the X button. Resistance.
Oh, shit.
you,
Article
you ever
gone. Son of a bitch. That's some
you
funny shit. Oh, you gotta love technology.
and when you press the X button because you see an ad and then you want to go back and you press the back button and the fucker just backs completely out. Yeah.
Ugh,
That is so annoying.
motherfuckers. Like, no, I just
Okay,
like, yeah, that is the one thing that I love about the Samsung is having that back button. But fuck yeah, when you hit it that one extra time because you didn't think it engaged, and you're like, yep, now I'm out of it. Son of a bitch.
okay, so he's talking about Marcel, which is this new movie he's coming out with. I don't want to talk about that. That doesn't have to do with Justice League. Jesus Christ, how long does it take for him to get to the fucking Snyder Cut here? He talks about George Floyd's death at the hands of police and the truth of racism.
Yep, George Floyd
Yeah.
did die. It's a tragedy. It sucks. Not all police are bad. People need to get over themselves.
Okay, so here we go.
I said bad
Into this.
again.
We're getting into take a shot, everyone. We're getting into these Zack Snyder part. Here we go. movies are perceived not at the time that they are written, but they're going to always be filtered by the time the audience sees them. Ooh, he's got some deep thoughts on this.
No
It just
fucking shit, dumbass. Oh my
like
god.
Jesus, and this picture of him with a
Oh
bald
my
head.
god.
Okay, it just reminds me that movies are perceived not at the time that they're written, but they're always going to be filtered by the time the audience sees them, and you will not be able to avoid that, no matter how hard you try to make something that is speaking to the moment.
What
There's no way
fucking
to.
moment? This is about fucking superheroes. This isn't goddamn real life.
Jesse is not asking about the Snyder Cut, about which he is very happy for Zach. But there is something troubling about an audience wielding such great power, especially when the motives of the groups can often be rooted in bigotry.
Oh yeah, so he was a part of the remove the gun with the wind crowd.
Oh, this is just so people know, this is your fucking Lex Luthor that you praise, okay? He's not a fan of you guys getting the cut that you wanted. He thinks the movement is rooted in big like hold on a second. I just got a quote on this, okay? I just got a quote on this. This is the same person that I just argued that someone just put his Lex Luthor on a pedestal, and this guy is saying that the fans shouldn't get what they want. Now, if you are a person who is acting in the movie they're trying to revive, I don't know about you, PB, but I would think you would be on board with the fans getting what they wanted, because that means you return and you get a paycheck and you get to reprise the role that you fucked up so monumentally. Like,
Obviously, if he's not on board with it, he agrees with us and knows that he did a shit fucking job.
let's look at Timon's flip, because I like what he said. He said, at General Zod's Phantom Zone, can people stop calling the Snyder Cut when it's clearly the Snyder remake? Thank you, Timon. Thank you. It is not going to be the Snyder Cut, because if you change the whole fucking movie, and from what I seen from the teaser, that scene was long and was not in the movie. um, Gigacidal tendencies. I see what you did there. Trying to trick PB. Go ahead and read that, PB.
Geekicidal Tendency says, PB, what's a three-letter word to describe Zod's ability to read this article? Rhymes with sad. Oh man, God, I've never been the best at riddles before. That's Jesse Eisenberg. He's the fucking Riddler. At least that's what he played. But I would probably go with bad. It's very bad. But I don't
So
know. Is he cutting out for the people in the chat the same way that he cuts out for me? Because you cut out for me like a little bit here and there over the last, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, where I'm catching like 50 to 75% of what you say, which is a little disappointing because I'm sure I've missed at least my fair share of your fuck ups. And then that means I didn't get to call you out on it, which is sad for me.
oh, this man, I'm scrolling down. This gets better. Okay, so he he says that it's a valid criticism, but it's hesitant. It seems to put a finer point on it. Well, always audiences have been dictating what people are making. But this is kind of more immediate, kind of preemptive. Justice League and Batman versus Superman, with all their muchness, I don't know what that means, are a far cry from his upcoming.
Muchness?
Yes, I swear to God, that's what it said.
Is that fucking muchness?
Yes. As an actor, your job
Okay.
doesn't really.
Ain't nobody on earth knows what the fuck it means.
Yeah. So he's comparing it to this film, and according to him, the new film he's making, he's making a comparison because it's some kind of French resistance piece, of course. Jesus Christ. And he's saying that you know, if the fans dictate this film being made, then where does it end? And here's the thing, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this.
Oh, he's one of those fucking douchebags. The fans literally dictate everything. If there were not fans, there would not be movies, period, of anything, ever, at all.
Here's the thing. There is two sides of this argument that I could throw my hat on any arena. It's true. These crazy Zack Snyder fans are out of control.
Villains just
We've
can't
seen.
pick a side.
No, I picked the side that wins. But anyway, I mean, this that's what any good general would do. But anyways, um, there's two sides to this argument because we've been on both sides of this exchange, PB. We have the side where a movie gets made and they don't fucking listen to us at all. Last Jedi, okay? And they completely destroyed an established story, an established character, the list goes on. And then you have movies like Justice League, where the movie was inherently bad and people bitched and complained and got what they wanted.
Well,
and that it
I
necessarily didn't.
feel. Oh, go ahead and finish, and then I'll respond.
I mean, it didn't necessarily need to be made, but there is the fact that the company listened to the people. That's what these actors and people aren't grasping, and these high-end reporters and these high-end critics with their badges and their fucking check marks. Okay?
Their
It's
access.
not about it's not about changing every fucking movie ever made. That's not the point. It's about listening to people and what they want, and that's what film used to be. And if you didn't give the people what they wanted, then your fucking movie failed. And now, if people don't like your movie, you can go, they're sexist, they're racist, they're white, they love Trump. That's what that's what the point is that
Why
you're
are
not
you
taking.
describing me? That's so hurtful.
The point of this argument is not that fans are being bigots and they're getting what they want and they're so hateful. That's not the point of the argument. The point is that the fans were being ignored, the people who pay your salary, and in the basics of customer service. And you can ask the fucking guy at McDonald's, okay, all right, say you go and get a Big Mac from McDonald's, right? And they've made it for fucking 40 years the same exact way. And then one day you go to a location and they change it. And instead of two fucking patties, you get a sad looking patty, fucking half eaten bun, and no cheese. And I know how you love cheese. Okay? So say you get that fucking monstrosity
Oh
and they
my
say,
god, there's no fucking cheese. You gave me the fucking sandwich with no fucking cheese. I'm turning the fuck around and I'm not going through the drive-through. I'm going, well, I guess technically it is through the drive-through, except I'll be ramming the fucking building. Like, don't be forgetting my cheese, motherfucker.
so yeah, you're already getting pissed off, right? So say you've established this
I'm
formula
already
for
pissed
making.
off, and this is just a hypothetical.
Say you've established this formula for the Big Mac, it's worked for years. And then all of a sudden you go in a bold new direction and you decide not to listen to the customers who
Oh,
pay
and they
to
decide
eat.
to start making new Coke. I get you.
Yeah. And you start making new things and you're not listening to the consumers who got you the money. What would happen to that McDonald's? It would fucking be closed down. But no, movies are exempt from this apparently, and they don't have to follow this guideline. They can say fuck the customer because it wasn't made for you. Like,
Yes, I was just following my artistic view. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Okay, continue to say that for the rest of your career, and we'll see how far your career goes. Because if you continue to lose money and not make the money that you're supposed to be making, you're not going to keep getting hired. That's just how it works. You
and
keep making those Big Macs without fucking cheese, you're going to get fired.
exactly, and that's what they're failing to see is that HBO and these companies, they're not like completely changing being douchebags. Go see our last late night talks about Gone with the Wind. Okay, they're still pandering, but they're starting to realize, you know what? Maybe we can do this getting rid of Gone with the Wind if we give the fans like the Snyder Cut. Because yeah, there's gonna be people like us who's actually fucking seen this movie and can like judge it for what it is. I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen it several times. Okay, Clark Gable is a national treasure, and fuck you if you argue with me. That man, it never mind. Anyways, I digress. The point is, is that you can make a move like that if you go, hey, you know what? We cut Gone with the Wind, but you know that Zack Snyder cut you always wanted? You're getting it. How many fucking people are talking about that? Like the Gone with the Wind thing?
7.
The Gone with the Wind thing? That thing died out. People are still attacking us about the Snyder cut. So, I mean, they appeased or they made happy or however the fuck you want to word it a large group of fans who will now most definitely get HBO Max when the Snyder Cut is released to see the film that they've wanted to see. It's a good business move. Okay? And this might be the start of companies making money cuz newsflash, the film industry is not doing good. The 2019 numbers were low before COVID, okay? This bullshit that they spin saying, "Oh, COVID-19 killed the film industry." It's brought No, the numbers from 2018 to 2019 were abysmal, okay? So the numbers were already shitty. The film industry is hurting. They need to do something drastic. And oh my God, they're going back to listening to fans to make money. That's what
Oh
it comes down to.
no. What a terrible choice.
I mean, look at Stargirl, okay? Let's just use the CW model.
Whoa, whoa,
You
whoa, whoa, whoa. What did you just say? Did you just ask me to look at Stargirl? Because I will look at Stargirl if somebody asks me to look at Stargirl. I will probably look at her way too long, and it's probably going to be a little creepy.
so
Oh, he hit the back button. Oh, that's freaking hilarious. I knew that was going to happen pretty soon. We talked about it before. Now the son of a bitch did it. Let's see how long it takes him to get back in here. That's goddamn hilarious. Oh, man. Oh, gotta love running a live stream on the phone. Here, just let me hit this back button real quick. Oh, fuck, now I'm out of live stream. There. Oh, now he's back.
so the general consensus, I didn't even skip
Is
a
that
beat
we
there.
like looking at Stargirl. Yeah, I know.
The general consensus is that show is unreasonably decently
Good.
made, right? Yeah, and it's on the CW. But
Technically.
I yes, technically, and I argue it's a DC Universe product. But anyways, that's besides the point. But in this show, what did they do for the fans? They put a higher budget into it. There's better acting. The costumes are kind of a hit or miss. That one for Hellcat was kind of.
You
I don't
mean
know what's going on.
Wildcat?
Oh, I was thinking. My bad. I crossed my things there. That's Marvel. But anyways, um, yeah,
Fuck,
Wildcat.
really? General Zod got his DC character confused with a Marvel character. For shame.
I know I'm a Marvel fanboy now. I'm sorry. But
No, I agree
and
with
it's
you. Like, some of the costumes aren't as great looking as the fucking robot.
Timon Flip. I just had to highlight this because it was hilarious. Read that comment.
Oh, what? I can't tell which one you put. Oh, here, hold on. Let me scroll over. Zod is giving Ewan McGregor pops for trying. Welcome to General Zod's Participation Award.
Hey,
I
it's the
feel like it
best
was
I could
supposed to be
give that film.
props.
It's the best I get. It's the best ringing. Look. I'm a DC fan. If you guys didn't know, okay. I'm not to the level of these fucking wacky Zack Snyder fans. I admit it's not a good
That's not
movie,
what a
but
DC fan is.
I admit it's not a good movie. But god damn it if I don't try to defend it on some kind of level here, because as bad as that movie was, I still say and Perp agrees, and he's not even a DC fan, but it's not an SJW product. It's just a bad movie, okay? But people tried. And I can give them recognition for at least trying in a terrible script, trying to make it work. Okay, it's like that movie Romper Stompers. Okay, uh, Russell Crowe did try. He
You didn't even
tried.
watch all of it, you dick.
No, I didn't, but I watched enough to know the cast tried.
No, he tried. I don't think everybody in that movie was trying. Oh man. Oh man.
So I
I
mean,
can't believe that Stevie's like, hey, I want to talk about this movie. I was like, oh, okay, we'll do it on a live stream. So it's got Russell Crowe in it, so it can't be that bad, right? Wrong.
dude, that was pre-Gladiator. I can't fault him. He was just trying to break in to yeah, at least he would give
I was
us
like, my
numerous
God.
Leaf Letter
I
movies.
mean, it
you know,
was I can give it, it was a raw movie. Like, if you appreciate that about a movie, you might enjoy it.
so let's switch gears. Speaking of raw movies and appreciating a movie if you enjoy them, John Cleese's shock
Oh, I thought
claims.
we were going to talk about Stargirl more. Oh, that's
No,
sad.
yeah, pervert. We're
Like,
gonna
I'm
talk
sitting here
about
looking at Stargirl, you motherfucker.
John Cleese's shock claims about James Bond franchise exposed amid Fawlty
Uh,
Towers. Uh, so, uh, John
I
Cleese.
know one name and everything you just said.
This is from the BBC, their magazine, and this week John Cleese furiously blasted on a streaming platform, UK TV, for removing an episode of BBC's
Whoa, you
Faulty.
can put stuff like that on a streaming platform? I thought that was reserved for Pornhub.
No, apparently not. BBC's Faulty Towers that
Just
contain.
furiously blasting somebody right on the
Yeah,
BBC. God, that's
he
wild.
and let me give you guys some context. If you don't know, the BBC has gotten ridiculous. Now, they made some fantastic shows. I like Orphan Black and a couple of other things. I like old school Doctor Who, that stuff. Torchwood. They've made
No,
some
you're just like
very
every Doctor Who pre-Whammon.
pretty much, and they pioneered in their televisions. Their television station doesn't censor stuff like we do in America. So they made Luther and shit like that, and those shows were like they took TVMA. I don't know what, like that would be their label for 90% of their shows. But now they started censoring their shows, but not for the content, but for what is in it. And this guy blasted the BBC because they censored an episode of his
What
Fawlty
you just said
Towers.
sounded ridiculous. They're not censoring it for the content, they're censoring it for what's in it. What do you think is in it? Not content? I don't
They're
understand what you're trying to say to me right now. You just said they're not censoring it for the content, they're censoring it for the content. What?
they're censoring it not for the content as far as the mature content, the swearing, the nudity, the violence. They're censoring it for racism and sexism, that kind of stuff.
Oh, they're censoring stuff that isn't woke.
Exactly. So Fawlty Towers, they removed an episode of it because it contained racial slurs.
What the fuck
He
is
bring
Fawlty Towers?
I don't know, but I'm gonna start watching it now. Uh, he
Oh my
branded the
god.
he branded the decision to temporarily take down the Germans, the final installment, and this is a season final. They pulled the episode of the fucking season final. So if you watch the episode before the season final, you're sitting going, where the fuck is the last episode? So the final installment of series one, as stupid, uh, that's what he called it, the creator. The site stated they will review the content to see if it fits the contemporary audience expectations after they were concerned by certain scenes. This isn't the first time the Monty Python founder has publicly vented about the expectations of sensitivity in modern audiences and how it alters film and TV shows. He previously lambasted the James Bond franchise for casting out uh, cheeky quips, unlikely gadgets, and dry British humor to appeal to viewers who longed for lengthy action scenes, which he believed was catered towards people in Asia. I love this guy. John Cleese. I like this guy. John Cleese made a number of criticisms about the newer James Bond films, in which all featured Daniel Craig, for allegedly not appealing to the British audience. The comedy legend who portrayed inventor mastermind Q during the Pierce Bronson era, The World Is Not Enough and Die Another Day,
Brosnan. Fucking A.
whatever, vented about the state of the industry in 2016. He moaned, "Oh, the UK magazine doesn't like him because of how they're wording this," but he moaned
See, I
the fun.
told you that this whole entire thing was on Pornhub.
he
Blasting, moaning, it's all in there.
he moaned that the fundamental flaw with the franchise was that it wasn't funny enough and had too many action sequences. John said, I did
What?
James I did James Bond movies,
No, that's
and
ridiculous. The fundamental flaw with James Bond is a lack of Halle Berry.
I'll buy that. I did two James Bond movies, and then I believe that they decided that the tone they needed was that of the Jason Bourne, which are very gritty and humorless. Also, the big money was coming from Asia and the Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia, where the audience go to watch action sequences, and that's why, in my opinion, the action sequences go on for far too long. It's a fundamental flaw. The audience in Asia are not going for subtle British humor or classy jokes. Box office sales could be seen partially reflecting his comments, as a number of Hollywood films have been propped up by the Asian market after flopping in the US, which is true. One example is Tom uh, Cruise's action flick, Edge of Tomorrow, which struggled to attract an audience in the US but topped the charts in Indonesia and Taiwan. See, that argument is not true. Edge of Tomorrow didn't do well in the US because
Oh,
people
yes, sir. We like many action scenes and no jokes over here.
many people didn't understand that movie. That's why that movie didn't do well. Not because it had a bunch of action sequences and people didn't understand that. People watched it and go, what? That's why
Ah,
people actually fucking watch the film. I mean, if you look at the DVD sales here in America, the DVD actually did phenomenal, which is why it's getting a sequel. So, I mean, that's a poor example, but the importance of the Asian market was just being understood at the time, and the history making move for James Bond's Casino Royale was shown in China. Later, Skyfall would also be broadcast to the nation, but was censored, with authorities removing scenes showing prostitution and torture by the Chinese interrogators. Casino Royale was directed by Martin Campbell, who responded to John Cleese's tried comments by stating that he wanted to make the film more realistic than the previous installments. He said, "We kept away from gadgets. We could suddenly have John Cleese storming in with a rocket car. James Bond's No Time to Die will be released in cinemas in November after the original release date was stalled." So here's the thing. I partially agree with this guy's comments. I think he went a little bit off the rails with the action sequences. James Bond is about the action too. I mean, he was in a fucking volcano in Live and Let Die. So, I mean, I'm just saying, there's always been ridiculous set pieces and things like that, and he was on the
which
fucking
one is
moon
that?
too. Live and Let Die was the one with not Timothy Dalton, Roger Moore. They were on this
Okay.
island. There was a voodoo guy.
With a
It
volcano, and then he
yeah,
went in it.
I mean, Bond's always had a quirky sense of humor, and I kind of get that from a guy who worked on Monty Python. But I mean, here's the thing. Things change and they evolve. So I think that argument is kind of stupid, but I understand with him talking about the
No, like,
censoring.
why are you supposed to be? So he thinks that we should be making a Bond movie today in 2019, 2020, 2018, whenever the fuck they started making it, whenever the hell they'll finish making it, the same way that they made it in 1964. Like, the character is supposed to be exactly the same. Like, he's not supposed to have modernized with the way that he interacts with people. Like, you cannot talk the same way that you talked in 1964 that you do today. You're going to be out of place. Like, I don't know if everybody in the chat has seen it, but have you seen the movie Blast from the Past with Brendan Fraser? He comes up out of that hole and he talks like a fucking weirdo because he's from the 50s and it's like the 90s.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I understand part of the argument. Like I I do agree with the gadgets. They could have modernized them. I don't like that they
Don't like that they what? That you cut out on me again? Did you die?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on
Anybody?
can you hear me? Hello?
Yep.
Okay. I was saying that
Yes, I hear you.
I understand the part about the gadgets because I think they could have modernized them with the times and that would have fit with the whole thing. But here's the thing. I understand them wanting to highlight more on James Bond and it's a different kind of Bond. That's all good. I did have that as a nitpick, but I do agree with some of the things that he's saying. Like it is kind of weird how they made the action sequences a little bit longer. Like a fucking, I clocked it. A half hour car chase is ridiculous. Even in Jason Bourne, and I like the Bourne movies, but like half the fucking movie is him like being chased in a car. In number two, I'm like, oh my god, just fucking
In a
get this
car?
scene over. Yeah, he's
Every
like being.
time that I picture Jason Bourne, every single time that I picture him jumping out of whatever window and then jumping through the window on the other side of whatever short street it is. I don't ever picture him in a car.
Oh yeah, there's a good 40-minute car chase scene in that
No,
movie.
I believe that there is. And then the second image that I have of him is I guess it would be the newest movie with him, where he's like standing in the crowd in the fight ring or whatever, and then he just walks in the middle and knocks the guy out with one punch.
Yeah, like here's the thing. I like Bourne movies, but I do agree with some of his statements. I do think that they tried to make James Bond kind of have that feel to him. But it's a part of movies. They evolve, they change. I don't think they fundamentally changed that many things. I mean, most people would disagree with me, but I don't personally feel they changed that many things. They just focused more on Bond himself and the struggles that he has as an agent. And I thought that was some good shit because, yeah, he jet sets and bangs all
His
these
struggles
chicks.
as an Asian.
Well, we are bringing it back to the Asian culture, but yeah, and it's true. The Asian market has held up a lot of terrible films. That point is also true. But I think the biggest part of this article is that the censoring has become ridiculous, and I'm glad he's actually pointing that part out. I mean, like in Skyfall, they cut a scene from that movie when it internationally released, and this was overseas because the Chinese were interrogating someone, and they cut that scene out. So, go communism. But I mean, you know, that wasn't the same as the American market. And you know what? He also has to remember Bond was originally an American import. So it's not just the foreign markets too. The American market liked the movies that have come out. They've grossed a ridiculous amount of money. So I mean, it's not just Asia who's liking the new direction. It's also America who's liked the films. They like Casino Royale. Quantum of Solace was not that great, but Skyfall got an award here in America. I mean, it won the Academy Awards. So I mean, American people like the movie.
American people of all color.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, I don't know. It was interesting because there's a lot of stuff swirling around, and now he's come out on the release of the last James Bond film featuring Daniel Craig. I feel like this poor movie can't catch a break. I really hope this thing is good because I've been defending it pretty adamantly, and
Yeah,
oh
you're
man,
the only person I've heard defend it this adamantly. Because I've heard like a few people be like, oh, yeah, just, it got pushed back again. So just wait and see, blah, blah, blah. But you're like, dude, like, You have no idea. Like, this is going to be a great Bond movie. Yeah, there's a woman in it. She's not going to be Bond. Shut the fuck up. You have no idea what's going to happen in this movie. For all you know, James Bond is going to murder everybody.
Exactly. And I stick by that because here's the thing. Bond trailers are like trailers for Marvel. What
They don't
you
mean a
see,
fucking thing.
yeah, exactly. What you see, like, okay, and here, I'll use a perfect example. The Quantum of Solace trailers, right? There was a
Sure.
bunch of shit in there that was never in the movie whatsoever. Like, there was a scene where he was going across the skylight and he kills like three people. Though when he went across it in the movie, he didn't see anyone. He didn't kill anyone. He just ran across the thing and then fought someone at the very end of it. So I mean,
Wait, he doesn't.
things
Wait, in that fucking scene, he doesn't kill anybody until the very end of the train.
and it well, no, I mean, this was when he was at some kind of opera. He's like sneaking across the stage and then he gets spotted and there's a big fight that ensues. But in the trailer, he takes out a couple of people. Then he gets spotted and he has the fight. So they altered things in the trailer that didn't actually make it into the film. And there were a lot of other little things too that they cut out when the film came
Aha.
out. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. This isn't right. So, I mean, like, they're like the MCU people. They'll tell you that something's going to happen. That doesn't mean it's happening.
They're like, look
I
at
think they're
this.
trolling.
James Bond is in a movie, and you're like, yep, I believe you.
It's like, you got to take it like a Russo brothers comment. You're about 50-50 that they're telling the truth, but 90% of the time they're not. If those numbers don't add up, it's because what the Russo brothers say never adds up. They're like, oh, yeah, Captain Marvel's going to be in the film. Yeah, she's going to have a pivotal role. She's going to be the linchpin. Yeah, you're going to
I
see her for
mean,
about 5 seconds.
Captain Marvel had a pivotal role in Endgame, technically, which annoyed the shit out of me. Like, how are you going to tell me that she randomly comes across this spaceship in the middle of fucking nowhere on her way to Earth? What are the fucking odds of that? Space is infinite.
It's about the odds of the Russo brothers telling the truth.
Never tell me the odds.
But
You need to put this comment up by Timon, the most recent one.
okay.
Timon Flip says, Hollyweird, I paraphrased, is not making the movies for the Asian market. They are making them for Chinese investors. Ideological stuff. So yeah,
I
I
agree.
mean, how many fucking we've talked about at least a handful because I couldn't tell you if we talked about that one extra to call it a half dozen of movies that have come out in China where they have completely removed scenes or altered scenes because they're like, oh, we don't want to show this in China. And we're like, well, what the fuck? Well, it totally changes the fucking movie. How are you just gonna take a scene out? What?
It's like BVS when they took out the scenes from that, and then the ultimate cut came out, and it made that movie so much clearer. Spoiler
Yeah, the
alert.
context
It didn't.
makes it longer and worse.
No, what the no, well, see, now I gotta get my crazy weirdo Zack Snyder hat on. No
Yeah, you do
PB.
it. You defend Zack Snyder after tearing him down for half an hour.
No PB. You don't understand, okay? What that scene does in the beginning is it sets up and explains what's gonna happen for the whole entire movie.
What fucking scene?
What they refer to is, in the beginning of the movie where he fucking kills that drug lord, or he he doesn't. they don't show him
Where
killing him, but he
Superman
slammed him.
flies through that drug lord's fucking heart.
Yeah, yeah, like he puts him through a wall. He's dead, okay, but
He's
people have
fucking dead.
argued. People have argued, no, he didn't kill him. Hello,
He's
you fly
fucking
through.
dead. He flew through him so fast he couldn't pull the trigger. He's dead.
Exactly. Uh, but
People argue that he's not dead. I've never heard that before. I've
oh
never,
yeah,
never once did I ever think that that character survived that exchange. Never once.
PV.
Especially after I know that Superman can kill people. Like, I know he can kill people. He killed General Zod. He snapped his fucking neck. Look at this son of a bitch. He's right here. He's got a snapped neck. He's being propped up by an avatar. That's the point. So I know he can kill people. And you are holding a gun to Lois Lane. You're fucking dead, guy.
I mean, even if you go alternate universe, all right, and we go my favorite game that was made, the Injustice, okay? He ripped Joker's heart from his chest after Joker made him kill Lois Lane, okay? He went and before Batman could say, "Clark, think about what you're," he was already behind Joker with his hand through his chest. Okay, so when Superman gets pissed off, that's not a good thing. Even Boy Scout Superman could put his heart through or put his hand through someone's chest and pull out their heart and show it to them while they're still laughing in a chair. So I
All
mean,
right, before you can fucking blink,
so
people think that guy's still fucking alive. That's goddamn hilarious.
yeah, so I've had well, uh, I swear to God, this is an argument. Someone said, "Well, he didn't
Anyway,
necessarily."
what is this? So there's a scene that happens before that?
Yes. And the scene just sets up more dialogue that explains why Lewis is there. That this was set up by Lex Luthor. So it gives more context to what happens later when people turn on Superman. It is actually all Lex Luthor concocting this plan. And I'm like, that's good. That's great. It explains how we
Oh
got
my
from point
god,
A
it
to point.
doesn't. So it doesn't change a fucking thing. Of course, it was fucking Lex Luthor. Duh.
Yeah, yeah, here's the thing. It doesn't change anything. Yes, does it flesh out some of the awkward dialogue and make it so the scene doesn't just fucking jump to like we're back home and everyone hates Superman? Good, great. That was a terrible cut. You can obviously see they removed a large portion of the film. But that doesn't fix the whole entire fucking story of the movie. And they add little scenes here and there, but they don't fix the film. They just add extra dialogue and they explain shit where you get to the end of the movie and go, I feel like I watched something where they cut out a whole conversation that could have explained why this is important. That's it. It it gives context. It doesn't make a movie better. And that's why I hate the whole argument with this like ultimate edition. Like, oh, the theatrical version that was tampered with. There was stuff removed. It's so much better when you see the ultimate cut. Yeah, because I get an hour of extra dialogue that explains shit that they could have explained in 20 minutes. Like,
It sounds
and
painful.
like, but and this brings me to my next article. This bullshit that's going on. This is the reason why 5 comic books shops have announced that they are permanently closing. Uh, yeah, and here's the thing, and a shameless plug for my review I'll be doing. These comic book shops they closed prematurely. Do you want to know why, PB?
I would love to know why they closed prematurely because I sure as fuck didn't read the article.
They closed prematurely because there's a comic coming out by Marvel. There's a comic that's gonna save the industry, and it's called New Warriors. And the new heroes that are gonna save the day, these brave and bold heroes that are going to save the comic book industry are Safe Space and Snowflake. Yeah, these
Oh my God.
these motherfuckers are making comic books like this, and we had 5 shops close. And yes, some of it has to do with Corona, but most of it has to do with a failing comic book industry. And keep in mind, folks, I read source material, and I can tell you right now, ain't no good shit coming out except for DC. Go and read the new heavy metal. It is amazing. I'm gonna do a review on issue 1. It picks up after Scott Snyder's Justice League, and it's the kickoff, and it's gonna change the DC universe as we know it. Anyways, after the industry shut down, it was anticipated that many comic book stores would shutter completely and would be unable to open again. But a mixture of comic book store ingenuity, government assistant, highlight star and asterisk government assistance, consumer spending on charitable work of Bink has stopped that from happening. But it would never be able to stop all of the comic book shops from closing. Bleeding Cool covered some early closures, but now 5 more have closed. After 28 plus years, the time for Comic Dungeon and 39 plus years for Corner Comics, it is time for both to close. We are so grateful to each person who have met us over the years. The 15 years that Lenny and I have owned the stores has been amazing. The foundation that Marv and Steve put in at the dungeon and Ron and Paige at the corner truly shaped the business that reflects the community that we were built in. We are
Wait,
proud
one
of
of these places is called The Dungeon and the other one is called The Corner.
Hey,
Do I
I've
have
been
that correct?
yes, I've been told comic book
Well, I
readers
know where I'm
or
going to get my fucking comic book stuff or whatever the fuck else they have in. I'm going to the fucking dungeon, man.
we are proud that both stars have made it over the years, becoming businesses that welcomed diversity, inclusion, and that created an atmosphere for families and kids. We are proud of the last 3 years. We have been able to help local schools create Willing to Read at levels that embrace comics as a medium for education. None of this would have been possible without your support. However, the changes to the business climate in our area, major shifts in the comic industry, plus the devastating
No, I
impact of
feel like that was a misprint. Like you're talking about safe space and snowflake. So I think it meant to say major shifts in the comic industry.
yeah, yeah. Uh, and COVID-19 have forced us to shutter our stores. So while I'm not going to read them all because it's just them saying thank you to the customers and all this. So while five
You're
stores are
welcome.
closed, while 5 stores are closing, some will be continuing with our stores in the chain are going to do mail by order. But it is 5 fewer visible representation of comic books and of their passing crowd. So here's the thing. Um, the comic book industry, like everyone sees the MCU or the DCU, whichever one you like or hate, or if you like both, they think, oh, comic books are doing great. Endgame made $3 billion, right? So the comic book
Whoa,
industry
whoa,
is
whoa,
booming.
whoa, whoa. It made $2.79 billion. Dollars. I don't think it hit 2.8. Let's just call it the biggest movie ever.
Yeah, I'm gonna forever embellish that. In my mind, it always hit three. Because
And
that's the number I picked.
Aquaman made $1 billion. Aquaman.
And yeah, if you want to go that route, hey, Aquaman, my least favorite character in the DC because he talks to fucking fishes, made $1 billion. So, the movie side is doing great. But you would think, oh, comic books, they must be on the uptick, right? No. And why is that? Because the movies are not taking the same approach. See, the comic books are doing what most major franchises are doing, and they are changing the way the comics are written. In some cases, the quality of the book. And you can go and check out Second Street Marvel. He's very good with this stuff. Um, you know, and gives you all the details and shit like that. But long story short, the format of the comic book has been changing, and the content of the comics have been changing, and they've been throwing in these, feminist views and SJW things. I mean, you had Captain Marvel come back, right? And the main villain is Nuclear Man. Nuclear Man
Who the
from a
fuck is
planet.
Nuclear Man?
He's a man who subjugates women. That's his whole character. He comes from a planet where women are subservient to men, and he came
What a
to
lucky guy.
yeah, and he came to Earth to make sure women get in line. Like
Oh my
this is
god.
I shit you not. You can this is a real storyline that Marvel is currently running with. I can't make this shit up. Like we went from
Oh
the
my god.
X-Men we went from the X-Men making comics that talk about differences and people being prosecuted because they're a little bit different and having amazing abilities and problems and being complex to Nuclear Man.
Do you mean persecuted, not prosecuted?
Persecuted and prosecuted. Some of those fuckers had to go to court.
I mean, I guess, yeah, that's true.
I mean, but no, the point is you went from deep storylines, good artwork, and people who cared about their craft to a guy who talks about how he wants to make a character called Trailblazer who's a fat woman with a backpack that makes her run fast. Why? No reason. How'd she get the backpack? Just happened. Was her powers generic? Generic? No.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Like,
Cool.
and I agree with what Geekocidal Tendency said. Simple answer again. Millennials don't read. Yeah, they don't. Geekocidal.
Yeah, but you don't. Well, I mean, I guess you technically have to read if you have DC Universe, but if you got DC Universe, you just put it on your Roku and you hit the play button, and then you just read the slides as they pop up. You ain't even got to turn the page.
Ooh, did I get another DC Universe shill? I
I
told you I
mean,
convert
for
you.
as long as it's going to be around, maybe.
But I mean, I just wanted to highlight like people don't realize like when you see like Ethan Van Sciver and stuff, and he talks about how, or Gary from Nerdrotic, and they're talking about how bad the comic book industry is, and you got these fucking idiots who say, "Well, what about the MCU? What about the DCU? What about the DCUA and DC Universe and all that?" Uh, the entertainment industry has nothing, and they want nothing to do with the comic book end. They're two separate things, which goes to uh, pop culture PB's never ending battle with me on source material. Point for you.
Source material.
Like you could like the source material that created and is the foundation for the template for these movies is dying out because they are altering it to where people don't want to read it. I mean, if you spend a certain amount of money on comics, whatever the fuck they are now, because I get my shit digital, right? I order a whole series for like $20, right? I don't want to order a series and be like,
Right,
holy
yeah, you
fuck,
get your comics for $7.99 a month.
yep. I mean, you don't want to spend that kind of money, read a book, and be like, well, that was a fucking waste of time. You know, I took this time and effort to read this comic, and it led to nothing because comics are still a visual medium. I mean, yeah, you got to read the little, bubbles there and, you know, read the story on the side or whatever, but visually, you still got to like the artwork and the panels and understand what's
Yeah, it's
going
still got to
on.
have good artwork.
And right now, these new creators, they're doing what is the equivalent of CGI in movies. They're doing these bright colors with this high gloss fucking print that is an exorbitant amount for these comics to buy. And they're buying all these prints and they're not selling. And, if the person who is making the book is putting out a shitty book, and they're trying to sell it, and it's a domino effect. If they can't sell your shitty book, then your shitty book doesn't get made, and probably the shop closes down because they're not selling anything.
Yeah, I would think so. You can't
So
put good books on the shelf because good books aren't being made. It's not like you can sell classic comic books until the end of time. Like that market, it doesn't exist. That would essentially be a pyramid scheme. There are only so many classic comic books. Once they're all purchased, they're done. You have to be able to sell new stuff, which would mean the new stuff is going to have to be good and not be based on fucking safe places and snowflakes. Fuck.
And when I saw this creator, okay, I've been a nerd for a long time. Any of us who are in geekdom or fandom, on some level, even if we don't look the part, we're all nerds at heart. We like what we like. That's part of the love and the bond and the camaraderie that we all have together, and why we unite when we're pissed off about something. But like these new creators, they don't look like nerds, or they don't have that vibe, like they care or they're into what they're making. They're like,
They're
well,
all
this isn't.
fucking hipsters.
Yeah, yeah. They got their glasses on and they're sipping on a fucking latte with their skinny jeans on their fucking
No, they're
iPhones.
not glasses. They're just goddamn frames.
Yep, yep. And they're all sitting there going, well, this is not how I
Fucking A.
visualize Superman being. He would be more for diversity. I mean, they made a fucking Superman comic that dealt all with racism, and they made the Punisher. They made the fucking Punisher deal with the cop shit going on. A vigilante lectures the cops. Just think about it. This is a man who,
Oh, makes
in
perfect sense.
his comic book run, Frank Castle has killed so many people. I'm sorry, folks. I don't have a count for you, but at least 3 times in a comic, he'll kill
7.
someone. Like his kill counts has by now has to be in the millions, if not billions of people he's killed in these comic books. He's gonna be like, tell the police, I'm disappointed. Don't idolize me. And we're reading going, what the fuck is going on right now?
Wow.
And this was a whole special
I have a
issue with
very important question to ask you.
go ahead.
When are you going to be on the Perp Show next? Or on a random stream?
I don't know when Perp sends me the fucking link.
What do you mean when he... What? Are you
Hey,
even awake during the week?
that's a fair point. I mean, I
The
work at.
last one started at 9 p.m. our time.
Oh, well, if he did at 9 p.m., I could stay for about an hour because, to be honest, I work at like, well, it switched back. I was working at 3 in the morning, or I had to get up at 3 to be there by 4. But now we switched, so now I can get up at 5 to be there at 6.
Nice.
Yeah. Uh, Folks,
Except
if you
for
don't know,
tomorrow.
yeah, I work tomorrow at at 6, so I'm gonna be wrapping this up soon
Oh,
with
you
this
do.
last article.
Shit.
Yeah,
Chop
yeah,
chop.
yeah, but I love the fans, so I'm up, even though I'm gonna regret it. I'm up to give you guys the latest news, but here's the last article from Deadline. So this it,
Dun dun dun.
it's it's based on facts from like the Hollywood Reporter and stuff because it has to do with movie statistics, which is why I'm quoting Deadline. Otherwise, you could
Ooh,
take it with a grain of salt.
statistics.
Yeah, so Matrix 4 moves to 2022. Godzilla versus the King or King Kong moves to or Stomps to 2021, and Warner Bros. I had to say that. I mean, come on. Uh, Warner Bros. Release dates change. Um, it just won't stop. Warner Bros. In the wake of moving Tenet, one of the greatest movies that are going to come out July 31st. So go and fucking see it. Uh, Moving Tenet from July 17th to the 31st, and Wonder Woman 1984 to August 14th to October 2nd, has shifted the number of its movies on the 2020 schedule to deeper in the calendar. Matrix 4, which currently paused production in Berlin but might restart next month, goes from May 21st, 2021 to April 1st, 2022. Uh, Pick is co-production with Village Roadside, has been the co-financer for the Matrix trilogy. Warner's had the latter date on hold, and it's the weekend after Disney opens Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness on March 25th. That's going to be an interesting
Ooh.
battle because wow, that's going to be an interesting one. I'll give Warner Bros. Credit; they got some balls releasing in that
Wait,
date.
which movie is Warner Brothers putting out?
Matrix 4 to run against Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, which is a fair
Good
battle
luck.
because Doctor Strange got a lot of mixed reviews. Its first one, so that's a better
There
choice
was
than
only
saying
one
like,
hero in the first one. There's going to be more than one hero in the second one. There'll be more money.
yeah, it'll be interesting because there are a lot of
Not
Matrix
to
fans.
mention the other hero that is in the movie is hot.
Yeah, but Keanu Reeves is Jesus.
Give a fuck about Jesus Matrix or Matrix Jesus.
Keanu Reeves can right at this point in time right now, the man is on fire. He could make a movie about a paper bag and lots of people will go and
You
see it,
just
myself
want to
included.
see Matrix John Wick.
Oh fuck yeah, I do. Like I can't wait. I just
Like
want
you're
to
just gonna be
see
like, hey, are they gonna give Neo a dog?
a Rockweiler.
Hey, you've been
Legendary.
flipped off in the chat. I think. I
Uh,
can't tell.
oh, the Senate must be here. Legendary Legendary's Godzilla versus Kong no longer will go November 20th of this year, but instead will take over Matrix 4's original May 21st date. Lionsgate currently has Spiral, its Saw reboot starring Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, which I can't wait for, on that date. Wonder Woman 1984 jumps to October following Tenet and its summer shift. Robert Zekerman's feature adaptation to Ronald Doyle's Witches is unset in 2021 for the time being, no longer in October 9th. Witches leaves behind 20th Century Studios' Kenneth Burge movie Death on the Nile and Paramount's expansion of Aaron Sorkin's, yes, got it right, The Trial of the Chicago Seven. Warner Bros. Cartoon action hybrid Tom and Jerry moves. What? Oh, God. No. Okay.
Didn't know that was a real thing.
Oh, not Tom and Jerry. Moves off of December 23rd and heads to March 5th, 2021. WB had a latter date RSVP'd where Sony's Ghostbusters Afterlife sits next to an untitled Universal event movie. Meanwhile, New Line is scheduling an untitled horror movie for June 4th, 2021, opposite of Paramount's Micronauts, Sony Vivo, and NGN's Sylvester Stallone movie, The Samaritan, and Warner's is taking an untitled event off of October 16th calendar of this year. Unhinged is going to July 10th in the wake of the Tenet shift. So the reason why I bring this up is that Warner Bros. Has a lot of shit going on. So this all ties back into DC and what's going on there is that Warner Bros. Movie end is all fucked. Like, all of the schedule is shift. Sony has taken some spots. Lionsgate has taken some of their spots. They've shifted to later dates. So they are really heavily depending on what's going on with television. Streaming is really keeping them afloat while they wait to release these big, what we assume will be hits. Like Wonder Woman 1984, I have no doubt is going to do really well. Tenet, the real Jesus Christ, Christopher Nolan, will be directing that. So that's going to do great.
Oh my God, guy.
Ask Stevie. Stevie backs me up on this. Okay. Christopher Nolan.
Stevie, okay, I will ask him. I will ask him straight up. I will say, Stevie, is Christopher Nolan Jesus Christ? And he's going to say, no, you fucking weirdo.
He's going to say,
I'm going to get called a fucking weirdo because of you.
But here's the thing. With all this shift going on, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really intriguing just to see how all of this stuff hits. And, Snyder could have a hand in this. He could shift the market, PB. Snyder, with his godlike powers, could change everything.
How?
I mean, Snyder could actually be Superman.
Oh my God, guy. Knock it
I know,
off.
I'm laying on thick, but the point is, Warner Bros. Right now needs this to succeed, and that's, I think, why we're seeing a lot of changes the way we are with them shifting their content and things like that. So overall, to paraphrase,
well, it's not like they're going to shift something that was going to be on a streaming service to in the theater.
No, and let me tell you, Disney did the best move they ever did by releasing Artemis Fowl to their streaming service. Because let me tell you something, if that
Oh,
movie
it's a shit
came out,
movie.
oh my, no, I'm not gonna call it a shit movie because that would insult
Ah, it's a
shit
shit
movies.
movie.
That that insults movies that are shitty, but you could still enjoy. This movie is this movie is terrible in a whole new way. Like I thought Lion King was bad. Holy fuck. This movie sets a whole new bar for terrible. Holy- You want to talk about source material and lack of, this thing doesn't even have original material. Like, if you deviate from a book, fine, but
Well, it's based on a book.
yeah, it's based on the Artemis Fowl books. And here's the thing, this movie was so bad that multiple directors dropped from the
Chris
project.
Stuckman even said it was bad. Hey,
Oh yeah, and I like Stuckman. And
yeah, who the fuck likes Chris Stuckman? That's weird.
not to mention Jeremy Johns, shout out if you're listening.
Jesus
Please come
Christ.
on. Please just say hi. Just that would make
Please
my
notice me, Mr. Johns.
if if I ever got yeah, if I ever got noticed, I'd be done. That's my YouTube career. I've reached the pinnacle of YouTube success. Just gonna retire.
If I ever got there, I'd be like, okay, now be straight with me. What do you use for your beard trimmer? Like, I want to get the lowdown. I want the real. That's all people really care about right now.
Now, I think Senate is trolling me because if you've watched Chris Stuckman movies, Senate, you would know he has lots of opinions. Just see his view on Dragon Ball Evolution. He literally spends 20 minutes of the video burning the copy of Dragon Ball Evolution.
That sounds hilarious.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like he takes a baseball bat and he hits it and breaks the shit out of it, and then he throws it in a dumpster and he burns it. Like I, as a Dragon Ball Z fan, I like to pretend that movie doesn't exist. But this man, like, I've
No, there's
he
no
had
pretending. You have to acknowledge that it exists because it allows you to appreciate the shows
like you can never tell,
and the animated movies.
and you can't ever tell me that the Majin Buu saga was terrible or GT was terrible after seeing Evolution. Like Evolution made GT a better show. Like you're watching that show and you go, hmm, Goku's a
I
baby
mean,
again, but you know what?
GT wasn't bad. It was just disappointing for the first half because Goku wasn't adult Goku, so we weren't getting like Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, what we were expecting. So it was just disappointing. But disappointing does not make something bad. What makes something bad is, oh, you said my mother's name. We're friends now.
Oh my God. You know what? And getting back to that Twitter thread, did you see how I quoted stuff, right? And I gave reasons and they said,
Oh my
"I'm still
God.
wait I'm still
Still
waiting for your
waiting. I was
reasons."
like, I just read an entire paragraph that had like 5 reasons in it. What are you waiting for? Not to mention, Stevie also responds and's like, hey, I'm doing a review on it. It'll be out next week. And the guy's like, yeah, still waiting. I was like, this motherfucker is dense. God dang. Like,
I
there's
was like,
definitely not an IQ test to get onto Twitter. They're like, oh, I downloaded it. It gave me a freaking ID, and I put a picture on. I'm on the Twitter.
like like I'm talking to these people and you saw how my tweets were getting. I go, "Come on. You guys can't be this naive. I refuse to believe people
Yep.
are this stupid." Like you you're straight trolling at first. I'm like, you're trolling me. You're and no, you are this fucking stupid. Like,
was amazing.
It like you hear about stupid people, but these people were breathtakingly dumb.
Like, I didn't think that they were gonna give us that much traction. I was like, I just sent out one tweet. How did all these people find this tweet? They don't follow me. Like, what? How did you find my tweet? I don't
Dude,
understand what's going on here, but go ahead and retweet it with your snarky comment because that'll get people to not acknowledge me.
it's it's like
Don't click on
they're
this. It's clickbait. And I was like, what's clickbait about it? Like, the title says he lied, and the thumbnail says he's full of shit. So, unless you can tell me exactly how he didn't lie or isn't full of shit, you're full of shit.
and here's the thing that's funny. There was a whole argument I got into, right? And I know we talked about this earlier, but for anyone who's joining us or will
We're
rewatch
you
this,
know we're bringing it back to the beginning so we can finish it off.
yeah, this is the thing that's funny, is that these people, these Snyder fans, they argue about something to the point of lunacy because when you state facts, okay, and you give them reasons, they make the weirdest arguments. Like this person brought Lord of the Rings and Star Wars into it, but when I tried to compare the movies, two movies in the DC universe, right? I used Dark Knight and Joker, that's in the DC universe. They they compared it to Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. What?
Yep. They go, you can't compare it to those movies. That's a completely different kind of dark tone. And I was like, if we can't compare a comic book movie that is related to Batman, no less, to other comic book movies that are related to Batman, then we can't fucking compare it or contrast it with anything. Like these movies are meant to be at least vaguely similar because they're dealing with similar characters, but we can't compare them. You have got to be fucking kidding me. Like, no, you can't compare a DC movie to a DC movie. That's not a fair comparison. You have to compare it to The Lord of the Rings. What?
I go, well, if that's your argument, then you're a complete fucking moron because I'm sorry, Lord of the Rings to Batman versus Super. Are you fucking high right now? You're
Right? Like,
saying
I'm not even a Lord of the Rings expert, and I know that BVS is going to lose that battle every day. And you can pick whichever Lord of the Rings movie. It has to be a Lord of the Rings movie, not a fucking Hobbit movie. That's not the same. You gotta pick one of the three. You pick whichever one you want, and it's going to beat that movie in any aspect. And
I
I'm not
mean
the expert.
I mean you're talking Peter Jackson who who like who in his own right revolutionized how movies were going to be done because he was the first one to use the experimental CGI. We read the article. He literally launched a man's career, Andy Serkis. Okay. So someone became famous and well renowned and known for CGI work because of that movie and how bold that was bold. And more
Not to
importantly,
mention the fact that he's I don't know, 100 times better cinematographer, as in orchestrating the shot, as in where people are standing in relation to everything else in the shot, and the angle that the shot is supposed to be shot at to give you the proper feeling. Like, you shouldn't be looking down over the shoulder of somebody that's shooting an arrow up at a giant monster. You look up under the shoulder of that person, so it makes the monster look even that much bigger. Like, these are small types of tricks that you're supposed to use if you're an expert.
No, PB, you're
Zack
wrong
Snyder
because
is not an expert
PB,
like
you're
Peter
complete.
Jackson. I'm not saying he's not a professional, but he's not fucking Peter Jackson.
And let's just be real. We're both wrong about this because remember, even if you're giving a technical fact, like that's what you do in cinema, that's
Oh, wait.
not a fact. It's an
It's
opinion.
subjective. It's subjective.
like, like so. Long story short, don't argue with these people because it's like talking in a giant circle, and it always comes back to you're just wrong because Zack Snyder's God, and you can't comment on it unless you
No, you
absolutely
gotta,
agree with everything.
apparently, you gotta do what Stevie did. He went from, he argued for a little bit, and then he transitioned to, now I'm just sending them Ron Burgundy gifts. Good idea. That's a good idea. That's all they deserve. They think they're making points. They think that they're making sense, and they're just spouting gibberish because Zack Snyder is the second coming of Christ, or the second coming of Peter Jackson. Like, didn't
Oh,
is Peter Jackson not the person who did Jurassic Park, or is that Steven Spielberg?
that's Spielberg, but give him time.
Spielberg shot Jurassic Park. Okay. Well,
Give him
did
time.
Spielberg and
Don't
Peter
compare him
Jackson
to
ever work
Spielberg.
together on anything?
I feel like they did. I want to say maybe that King Kong movie that came out with Jack Black.
Okay.
I know that they
Interesting.
I know they worked on a film together. Yeah, I'm just blanking out on what it was, but and I'm sure it was magnificent. Oh, wait, was it Super 8? It was one of the. It was an obscure Spielberg movie, and I remember it was very good because it was Jackson and Spielberg working on it. Uh, these are not the same as Zack Snyder.
And whoever.
And here's the thing. You can't take away from the man that he created the movie 300. And at the time that was released, he did a lot of techniques and shit in that film that weren't
I like
done before.
300.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole stop motion thing that he does where they pause,
And if
he started
Superman was in 300, it would be stupid as fuck too.
he he started that trend, okay?
Oh, for sure.
Like no other movies did that until after 300. Then you saw it in every fucking movie and every show. But that doesn't mean that he can do everything in the industry. He's got specialities, and the story that was written by him was okay at best. Cards on the table. I understand where he wanted to go. I think it's a good idea. It was just poorly executed. And it doesn't matter what cut of a film you see, that doesn't change the idea that was presented on screen. it, it doesn't change how the movie was delivered.
Yeah, it just makes us more upset. But it's
But
like
anyway,
it's like almost 2:30, guy.
yeah, but anyways, I got to get going because Zod is cranky at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, uh, this has been fun. I'm actually glad I got into this Twitter debate because it was fuel for me being able to read these articles and do my talks on DC. But I guess I'm not a fan. I got to change my name from
Yeah, we're
General
not
Zod's Fandom
fans
Zone.
because
I'm
we
all
didn't like BVS. We're not DC fans because I didn't watch every single live action episode on DC Universe so far.
all I got to do is get you to read comics.
Good luck with that.
So, anyways, thank you everybody for coming along. PB, you want to promote your very controversial video you released?
Oh, I mean, sure. Yeah, I made a video on Prophet of Geek Culture talking about Zack Snyder and how he is full of shit. Or you could say that he lied to you, to me, to all of his fans, to all of his haters, to everybody. Because I don't know, either he saw Justice League or he lied about how much of his work we saw in Justice League. It's your choice. It's a choose your own adventure video. So I'll post the link to that in the chat. And then if anybody wants to check it out, they can. That would be much appreciated. And then I'll have a review coming out on my channel for Stargirl, hopefully on Monday. Then I'll get some extra views on it because last one didn't do as well. But shit happens.
And on over here on General Zod's Phantom Zone, we'll be doing the late night talks tomorrow night at the midnight hour. And I got two Penny Dreadful reviews back to back because I missed out on this one. Episode 8, which was called Hide and Seek. And it was the creepiest fucking episode. And if you've been watching my reviews, I've been complaining about how the supernatural was in it. Holy fucking shit. They just loaded it in this episode. Like, shout out to whoever plays that little boy. He is the creepiest fucking child I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, the episode was really good. And I'll also be reviewing episode 9, which means we just have one more episode until the final. So, very much looking forward to that. And I will be in the Outback for our movie talk with Stevie J. We put
Oh,
a poll
you're
up.
going to the Outback? He's not coming to the fandom zone?
No, no, I'm gonna fly on over there. Check out.
Ah.
So I'll be on his channel because we decided for our Sunday movie talks we'll alternate between our channels, and I'll be over there. We got a poll up, so go on Twitter, check it out. We'll either review Warrior, Last Samurai, or what was it? He put some ridiculous one on
Suicide Squad is the one I voted for because I
it.
said it would be the most painful for the two of you to watch.
See, no. See, that would be I was hoping Suicide Squad would win because I'm not as hard on the film as he is. So it would be
Oh,
interesting for us to argue. That would be one we'd actually probably debate about because I know he loves that movie and I just mildly dislike it. So
okay.
I would love to make like points defending the film because I know
I mean, I would have to probably rewatch it a couple of times before I would be able to defend anything in it. 'Cause I think I only seen it like twice. And I was like, this is like the Joker is terrible, but there's a few things in it that I know that I like, but it wasn't like a great movie.
yeah, it'll it'll be it'll be interesting debate. So if you guys want to join us, definitely go on Stevie J Reviews channel. This week though, we'll probably be talking about a great film. I know right now in the polls, Last Samurai is
Yep.
uh, ahead, so it looks like we might be doing that. Which is fine. I mean, it's a great movie, but we debate less on good films, so it's sort of uh, it it's we find things to pick out, but Last Samurai is at least in my mind, it's a true masterpiece. Very underrated. So
He's white. The Last Samurai is white.
in Japan, so go figure how that played out. So yeah, it's gonna be a great review. I'm really looking forward to it, and one day I'll be on the Perp Show. You guys won't expect it. I'll just show up.
I suppose.
You know, because Black Lives Matter. Anyways, thank you, everybody. You all have a good night. and we'll see you tomorrow night. Remember the only rule here in the fandom zone: kneel.
Remember to bring your cheese.
And kneel before your God.